So from a platform management, one of the things that we're able to do with this magical appliance is we're able to reduce the initial setup time and get your systems up and running. So for example, if you had to install a brand new server that you got, rather than going and upgrading different firmwares, getting the cards, all of that ready, for every component, or for example, putting a new operating system on every component on every server, you don't need to do that. You just go and install the appliance, start it up, it automatically detects, does a discovery, does an inventory, goes back and checks all the upgrades that are available, then updates them automatically for you with your permission, and does it in parallel, so you don't have to sit and wait, right? At the same time, not only new deployments, but existing deployments of yours, when you have to do maintenance and management and whatnot, all of that again gets automated with the system, right? From a virtualization standpoint, however, you can either use KVM, VMware, or Hyper-V, or Power-VM, as we said earlier. But for all of these hypervisors, we're able to do lifecycle management. We can create, edit, start, stop, and delete your VMs for all your hypervisors. You can do image management, resource pooling for storage, network, and virtual servers. Now, this is important here because normally you have to go and do everything in silos, right? You have to go and manage your hypervisor separately, manage your storage separately, manage your network separately. That is not necessary. Now you're able to do resource pooling across the entire stack. We're able to set policies, and based on policies get virtual machine migrations done. So rather than waiting for a system to go down, depending on the policies that you set, the system automatically takes actions to balance out your workloads, to give you higher available workloads, and be able to deliver this easily. From a network perspective, the key thing here is in the system is today the new switches that IBM is offering are virtual machine aware. Okay, these switches can see the IP addresses of your VMs today. The advantage this gives you is when you start moving and provisioning for various VLANs, in the normal scenario, your physical switches couldn't see the IP addresses of the virtual machines. Today you can, and you're able to manage a good QoS also at the same time. Then you're able to do automated logical network provisioning based on your virtualized infrastructure, not your physical infrastructure only, right? And apply that to various VMs/various vSwitches. And then, on top of that, we can end up doing storage virtualization, where not only do we allow, with the V7000, allow you to virtualize your existing storage, so you may have other non-IBM SAN storages with you. With V7000, we can virtualize the existing SAN storage and bring it into the system. So as you can see from a virtualization management, a virtual machine integration, network virtualization, virtualization, all of that taken into consideration. Now, getting all these three components to work is where the magic is, and that's what this webinar is about, right? I'm not going to spend too much time on configuration and support, but for the kind of support that you expect from IBM, basic capabilities to high-end capabilities, all of that backed up where you can get IBM to be aware of your system and any infrastructure issues that might arise. Moment the system recognizes it, it automatically can log a call for you and the yeah. All right. So, what are the features that typically come with this? And we've talked about some of them. I didn't spend time on security. As many of you know, today security is becoming the biggest bottleneck for moving towards a cloud/virtualization environment. With this appliance that we have, we're able to give a centralized security policy across various chassis and do enforcement of the security policy as well. We are able to do central user management and we are able to manage device configuration centrally from the FSM and not in some other repository that is not as per your compliance policies, right? And considering the fact that we are moving towards an infrastructure today where many customers today are keeping the VM network traffic as close as possible to the hosts, all of the earlier functional advanced features that you needed in your core switches are now being available at a distribution layer, allowing you to keep your VM traffic as close as possible to the hosts, which not only helps bring down your costs because you don't have to invest in very high-end core switches, but it gives you very intelligent VM management capabilities. So what are those integration capabilities that Flex System can deliver, right? So, and as I said earlier, there are multiple hypervisors, and for those hypervisors, we have a high level of hardware integration. Now, this is where the advanced capabilities step in, because today, when you're doing virtualization, it's a separate software that you need to use. And that software is not aware of what's happening at the hardware level. Similarly, the hardware is not aware of what's happening at the VM level, right? Automation plans are the way forward when using integrated systems. Today, if the hardware knows that something is not right, for example, if the hardware knows that your RAM is about to fail, rather than waiting for the server to go down, it will go and inform the hypervisor, please make a change accordingly. Now, these are the capabilities as an example of what an automation plan is, which is a handle PFA, which is predictive failure alert. You can set an automation plan based on resource threshold, saying that if the CPU utilization exceeds so much, get a virtual machine migration done. You can do power plans, right? You're able to do centralized VM network policy and VM level firewall, leveraging network virtualization, integrating with VMware Standard Edition. You can create varied storage profiles on the V7000 with thin provisioning or easy tiering. So you can go and say this storage space that I have allocated for VMware is under thin provisioning, and rather than using, in a normal scenario, if I have to use 5 terabytes, the system will actually allocate only 3 terabytes to you because it's able to provision this accordingly. Right? Now you get all of these features with the entry-level VMware Standard Edition license. Right? So it still makes a big impact to what you are currently running. Now, however, what happens when we take on when you have VMware Enterprise Plus completely integrated into your stack? This is where it gets really, really interesting. In addition to the hardware capabilities that I just spoke of automation plans and VM level replication, they have the capability of taking the vSwitch of VMware, which comes with distributed network switch, and offload that to the physical switch. So VMware and IBM came together to create this virtual switch appliance that transfers control of the entire network, the virtual network, to the physical switches, which means the network administrator, who earlier had problems, now gets full control of the virtual and the physical environment and is able to do all of his traffic management, VM settings, physical switch settings, everything that very quickly. So DBS 5000B is one that does that job, right? And especially when you have very, very large scale deployments of 100, 150, 200 virtual machines, you typically have 10 to 15 VLANs in there, and managing your virtual machines in that VLAN environment becomes extremely difficult. And that's what Enterprise Plus with VMware and IBM Pure Flex is able to deliver, right? Now, at the same time, there will be some customers who will say, I want to use